hiring a company like VAEST that's established and knows all the ins and outs. They've troubleshot everything over the years. The only person that can hold you back from success with them is you as the business owner. And like we said, not giving the VAs the proper tools, the communications, the training to help them help you at the end of the day.
Hello, podcast people. Welcome to the very first episode of Virtual Assist Unplugged, a VA.EST podcast. I'm your host, Lou, and I'm super excited to kick off this podcast series where we'll be delving into the world of virtual assistants, how they can supercharge your productivity, and much more. Today, we have a fantastic guest with us, as you have heard from the guest intro. He's a pro at leveraging virtual assistants to optimize your work-life balance and business success. He has been with VA.EST for over 5 long years and has been working with our tenured executive assistants. He is a licensed real estate broker, the founder and managing director at the Property Shop New York, and the host of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Radio. Please join me in welcoming John Bevilacqua, or also known as John B, here at the office. John, thank you so much for being here, and I hope I did not butcher your last name.
It's all right, Miss Lou. It gets butchered every day, so you wouldn't be the first one. You didn't tell me I was the first. This is the first episode, and I'm the first guest.
Yes.
Well, it's
5
an
years,
honor,
John.
and I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for having me on. It's been 5 years. Wow. I thought yeah, it's about right. 2017, 2018,
Yeah.
something like that.
It has been 5 long years. And yes, what more than you be the first for the pilot episode. So thank you so much, Sean. Yeah. So, John, let's start off with a question that's totally out of the topic, shall we?
Let's do it.
So, John, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. Do they have to be historical, or can it be anybody I choose?
Has to be historical, John.
Like Napoleon Bonaparte, the strategist and the warrior. I mean, that guy was an incredible planner, and just inspiring to being a conqueror. I don't know. I think Napoleon would probably be an interesting dinner. I'd probably have to learn French though in order to talk to him, but I think he would. I think he would be a good dinner guest, and I'd love to see. Usually, when I meet people or I have people on the show, I try to test their sense of humor. So I'd have to see if he's got a sense of humor and if he's a funny guy. I got to imagine somebody that crazy's got to, let down his guard a little bit and laugh. So I guess, I don't know, maybe Napoleon.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, learn French first probably. Like I do have a couple in my list. I have a Russian, all musical composers, Tchaikovsky. So I had to learn Russian as well. Maybe to ask him questions. But Napoleon
If we're not
Bonaparte,
talking historical figures, I
Mhm.
would say right now, because of where I'm at with my radio show, I'd either want to have dinner with Howard Stern
Oh,
or some sort of radio personality, just to figure out like how they're successful with their shows.
yeah, fair enough. Exactly.
Fair enough.
All right.
Larry
Oh,
King.
Larry King. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A living or deceased.
He is deceased. He's
Yeah.
historical.
Yeah,
Qualifies.
exactly. Yeah. It ticks the boxes. Okay, so John, let's kick off with the first question. Now, could you share some key benefits you've experienced by integrating a virtual assistant into your workflow?
Some key benefits. Yeah, I mean, well, listen, like you had said, Miss Lou, it's been 5 years. I can't imagine, my office running without a virtual assistant at this point. They've been, such a game changer with me since we started with Miss Eileen. For those of you who don't know Miss Eileen, she is the founder of VA.EST, and found me years ago and brought me on board with and matched me with the company. I mean, as far as the workflow is concerned, I mean, having the VA staff available, it just allows me to focus on my most dollar productive activities relative to the business, right? It keeps me involved in sales. It keeps me involved in marketing, uh, recruiting, bringing people on board. And what that allows me to do for the VAs is to empower them and through delegation and the tasks that are better suited for what they're trained and qualified to accomplish. So at the end of the day, I get more stuff done. I'm able to spend more time like I said, on parts of the business that I enjoy and are the most profitable to the company. And it also gets me out of the office a little bit earlier so I can spend time with my family and enjoy life a little bit more.
Exactly. I think you touched a little, good key points there, like, delegation. Basically, it gives you the freedom to handle the big picture stuff, I might say, and that's the reason why you have agencies as such.
Being a business owner, it's like you wear so many hats and there's only so many
Mm,
activities that you can be good at. So you need to find other people that can help you with the things that they're better at than you are, so you can elevate the entire business in the process. So that's where the VAs come in huge. Yep.
exactly. And speaking
Mhm.
about delegation, so what specific tasks have you found most effective to delegate to your virtual assistants? And how has this freed up your time to focus on the more strategic activities?
Good question. I mean, we've over the years, I mean, we've probably had at 10 virtual assistants for all sorts of different tasks, anywhere from phone prospecting, customer service. Tony has been with me for I think 3 years now. He's kind of my quarterback, so to speak. He keeps a close eye on our lead flow, the contact management system, and making sure that tasks get met not only by him but by other people on the team. He handles calls to the main office number. I mean, he's got a solid handle on how my business operates, and he fills in the gaps pretty much anywhere he's needed. I mean, some of the tasks I give him are just so random that, he starts laughing because he's like, "Boss, what are you having me do today? Make breakfast?" Um, it depends. So
Hmm.
Tony, and he also coordinates with the rest of the virtual assistant staff. So
Hmm.
he's my eyes on the office in your guys' office. So, I can get a handle of what the VAs are doing because you guys are working remotely, and I don't I can't
Hmm.
see what you're doing. So Tony's kind of the eyes and the ears for me. Sir Sean, I mean, Sean's been with me the longest. You guys may know him as Christian, but
Hmm.
he's basically my in-house graphic designer. I have an in-house graphic designer, video editor. He saves me when I can't figure out, my passwords and logins. Helps me with stupid things like Word documents and I shouldn't say I, stupid for me. Like I can't figure this stuff out, and then Sean he always has the answers for anything, and 99% of the time Sean can figure it out. And then Anna, who's is the newest addition. She's handles accounting, bookkeeping. She's recently taken over handling transaction coordination with my agents, payment processing. Um, yeah, I mean, mostly numbers based stuff and transaction coordinating, but Anna's been a big key component to big piece of the puzzle. But we've hired a VA from you guys for, I mean, almost anything we've used over the years.
Exactly. Again, some key points there as well, just detailing or talking more about delegation. And, that's, I think for people who are asking what virtual assistants are, we'll be talking about this later on during the show. Like, this would be a good avenue for them to know, like, what do we really do, right? Especially it's daunting itself, working with someone remotely, as you have mentioned a while back, like, you don't know what's going on. So, companies as such, agencies as such as us, we do those nitty gritty stuff, HR things, but yeah, we'll delve into that later on. So, I think one key point that we can talk about is communication. So, since we're talking about working remotely, so, how do you ensure effective communication and collaboration with your virtual assistant, especially when working remotely? I know you've given me some detail about it, with regards to Tony managing that for you. But like, can you give any more tips or tools that have been proven to be particularly useful to you communications wise?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely have to thank the pandemic and the whole concept and idea of working remotely over the past few years has definitely advanced the way that I've figured out how to work with my virtual assistant team. So leveraging technology obviously is a big piece of the puzzle. We've experimented with Microsoft products, Zoom. We have a whole voice over IP system that controls our phone systems. There isn't a way there isn't a modern way of communication that we don't use that keeps us in contact with you guys. So there isn't. I can text any of those guys. I can message them, video conference them, just voice over IP call them. There isn't really any. We don't have that issue because we've been doing it so long, and we know how to properly leverage the technology. So, and then again, having Tony as the quarterback, if I really need to get a hold of one of the VAs in a hurry, I call Tony if he's not in his not in the comfort room, you know where he likes to hang out. But he's usually around. I'll call Tony, and then Tony will either tap Sean on the shoulder or Anna and say, "Hey, John needs to get in touch with you. Call him quick," and then boom, we're instantly connected. So we don't really have any communication issues. I'm not saying it's not perfect. I mean, there's nothing perfect, especially when you're working thousands of miles away. But it's been figured out, not perfected, but figured out to the point where it's pretty much seamless at this point.
I agree with that. And I also want to add, trust also plays a big part in it. Like a client wouldn't be with a business for a long time if they're not happy with it. And having that, let's say Tony isn't available or Sean isn't available. You have that already, that preconception that that they're going to be there. They're going to be trusted in that sense. So yeah, I do agree with that. There's no perfect communication.
Let me bring this point too. Not to mention that the office itself, VA.ESC, you guys do an incredible job of keeping us informed when somebody's absent or going to be sick from work. I mean, I get an email first thing in the morning. Hey, one of the VAs is not feeling well. It's not going to be in. We're hoping she comes back on Wednesday or Thursday, and that at least gives us time to say, okay, we're down a man today. We got to fill in the gaps. Or that project we were working on with that particular assistant, we're going to put that on the side burner until they get back. So that's a big component in helping us coordinate absences, sickness, and you guys do a good job with making sure that your technology is up and that there isn't any loss on internet or blackouts or things of that nature. So kudos to you guys for that.
Thank you, John. Also, like I said, there has to be systems in place, and that's what we do. Like the nitty gritty, HR stuff, tech stuff. You don't have to deal with that. We try our best, but again, there's no perfect system in place. It's just communication is really key to this. If it's not going to work, then be transparent enough to tell the client that it's not going to work at this time, but we're going to give you some solutions. So since we're talking about the nitty gritty, let's get real for a moment, John. So working with a virtual assistant isn't all sunshine and rainbows. We know that. So can you share any challenges you've encountered while working with a virtual assistant and how you've addressed or overcome those issues?
I have challenges with the people that are in the office physically, right? It's just when you're in the business of people, we're all human. Like, people are going to get sick. People are going to have family issues. There's going to be times where people aren't at their best. I mean, yesterday I was not feeling it. So I went home early. It's just, I think the majority of those issues can be solved with communication. But, more importantly, with regards to the VAs and having them flow with the office, I think training and managing expectations is really the biggest thing that you can be ahead of as a business owner, and I need to get better at it. But training's key, and a lot of the times the challenges are more so on our end in our office because we didn't communicate properly to your side of the equation and giving them proper training or giving them the right information that's going to help them be successful and ultimately help us be successful. So I think, that talking about nitty gritty and all things not being perfect, it really comes down to, time is a factor, and the training over time and the quality of the training can dodge a lot of bullets that come up on a daily basis or weekly basis. So communication always paramount, and training and expectations are really, and having a job description for that VA to know what they're supposed to do when they turn on the computer and start their day.
Exactly.
So does that make sense? I mean, you guys know, like, hey, a lot of the times we're limited because our boss, our employer, isn't giving us the right tools or the training that we need to help them.
Exactly. And that's also where we come in, that's you mentioned something about managing expectations. That's really key, And let me just also add that yes, there's always two sides of the equation, what we always tell our virtual assistants, even in training, like if they don't understand anything, like any process at all, it's not bad to ask the question if you really did not understand assistance. It's better to ask it right then and there than to have problems in the future, So I guess that's, what we can add with managing expectations as well. So, John, I think this question is related to what you were talking about a while back. What advice would you give to business owners or managers who are considering hiring a virtual assistant for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, don't be intimidated by the idea of working with remote staff. It can really change your business and help you to get further along where you need to be. So again, working with VA.est is huge because they've already got the infrastructure. I've seen people struggle with outsourcing and trying to find a VA that works out of their house and is kind of an independent contractor, so to speak. And that can be difficult. I've done that before. I've tripped on that before. And in fact, we actually hired an independent VA to work alongside of our team with VA.est, and you guys worked him under the table. I mean, we ended up letting him go within a few weeks. It was difficult, but I think if I can give you guys some promotion and give people out there an idea that, hiring a company like VA.est that's established and knows all the ins and outs. They've troubleshot everything over the years. The only person that can hold you back from success with them is you as the business owner. And like we said, not giving the VAs the proper tools, the communications, the training to help them help you at the end of the day. I would say my advice is, skip the help desk, skip the job ads and postings on LinkedIn, and hire a company that has infrastructure and has that's already doing this. I mean, that's why we use you guys.
John, those are some golden nuggets of wisdom right there. So,
Yeah.
John, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. But before I let you go, John, is there anything special you'd like to shout out or plug? Where can our curious listeners dive deeper into your world?
I do a radio show for real estate on Saturday mornings. It can be streamed. It's on Magic 100.5. We do, market updates, information on tips and tricks on how to get your house sold. We basically give all of our listeners the answers to the tests when it comes to everything that you need to know about real estate. And it's relative nationally, whether you're in the United States or Canada, like all the advice we give isn't hyper local to our real estate market. It's for anybody that owns a house and wants to know about, what happens if my home inspection fails? What happens, how do I find the best mortgage rate? Legal questions. We just did a show on well and septic systems. So really it's an opportunity for us to, showcase our office, showcase what we do, and really give people a place to tune in and find out how real estate works. And you can call in and ask any questions you want. It's a free show, and it's really where my passion lies on communicating with people and giving them great real estate advice.
Perfect, John. Thank you so much.